Well, good evening, everybody. Alan Slaughterzinski for the Brevard Sports Network. And it is that time of the year where we begin our spring football recaps. Now, I know it says live from Jimmy Hula's down at the very bottom of the screen there. We're not live from Jimmy Hula's, but we will be throughout the course of the spring football recaps with many of Brevard County's head football coaches. And very excited tonight because we kicked this off with a trio of coaches from Melbourne High School who got a great win on Friday night. How about 31 points on the board Friday night for Melbourne in their spring game win over Hagerty? We have here with us tonight head coach Jeff Pannucci. Now, while it's not an official first win, it is a win. We'll talk to Coach Pannucci about that. And then we got the co-offensive coordinators, one for the pass game, one for the run game, Coach Dwayne Robinson and Coach Billy Palmer. But we begin tonight with bringing on head coach Jeff Pannucci. I want to start with Coach Pannucci tonight. And Coach, first of all, welcome back to Brevard Sports Network. I know we did your thing live when Coach Chad Raymond introduced you as the new head coach. So I'll just start right here. Was it everything you thought it would be, being the head football coach through spring?
It was everything and more. It was surreal. Lasted maybe a couple of days, and then it was just straight down to reconditioning helmets, figuring out a schedule, figuring out this, figuring out that. So everything I thought and more, I'd say.
Tell me, Coach, was there any obstacles you didn't expect? I don't mean, I'm not looking for dirt, but I'm saying, were there things that crept up that maybe you thought, I didn't know I had to do this as a head coach?
I mean, probably, yeah, honestly. There was a number of things, and, I got some good advice from some people about writing things down in a journal. Unfortunately, I got the journal and never wrote anything in it, so I bought another one to make it a little smaller. Yeah. But yeah, there's so many things that popped up that I had no idea what was going on, and just learning on the fly. I reached out to a lot of people, like, obviously I got Coach Gersh on staff, but, I talked to people like Coach Kimmy, Coach Miller, and people that offered me some advice. Even Coach Wilson, the old head coach, reached out to me. So I had people in my corner support me along the way, and Chad Raymond was nothing but awesome as well, and being patient with me.
I looked down your list here, Coach, and of course, following the offseason, after your hire, watching some of the coaching hires, aside from the fact that you've hired a quarter of the Brevard Sports Network staff back to the Melbourne Bulldogs, I love what you've put together here. Kind of take me through your coaches a little bit, and let me just name them all real quick. So I don't want to put you on the spot because I know without a list in front of you, it's hard to remember names. Yeah. No, but you got Jonathan Jacob. You got looks like Christine Clancy as the trainer. Daryl, Coach Daryl on the defensive line, Coach Leroy in the linebackers, Coach Eric in the DBs, Coach Logan Pettit on the defensive line, Coach Eddie Edwards in the special teams, Coach Michael Hamilton in the running backs, Jerry Hudson, the wide receivers, Evan Rojas, the tight ends coach, Ron Lugo, the O-line, Corey Durfus, the offensive assistant, of course, Billy Palmer and Dwayne Robinson, Scott Grish, and, of course, yourself. That's quite a staff, Coach.
Yeah, there's a lot of names on there, right? Yeah, I mean, I can go down the list. I mean, obviously it starts with Scott. Scott Grish, 15 years I've been coaching with this man. He's taught me pretty much everything there is to know about that I know about coaching. Having him by my side, being able to kind of switch roles, and I've leaned heavily on him. He's like a father to me. That's my biggest mentor, and it's been fun doing this with him side by side. Then I'm just going to go to the two guys here. Priority number one was bringing people in that I want to work with, that I get along with, that these kids can see we get along together, because you don't need turmoil on staff, and you don't want that. And I needed guys that know the Mel High way, and as you've probably seen on social media, we got 6 guys. And I was hoping maybe some more that are graduated from Melbourne High School. Yeah. So when you got a bunch of dudes pulling the same rope that understand what it takes to be a Melbourne Bulldog, I don't have to teach them the message because they know the message. We've been through it. 3 of them what is it? 3 of them I played with that are teammates: Mike Hamilton, Billy Palmer, and Eric Clark. And 2 of them I coached in Dwayne Robinson and Logan Pettit. So it's it's really cool, because the one thing you'll probably hear Billy say later on is the egos are checked at the door. I might have the title, but I mean, these guys have poked more fun at me than anything. There's no egos, man. It's a bunch of guys out there coaching for the same reason. We're there for kids. It isn't about titles. It's about kids, man. It's about having fun. We'd be lying if we didn't say we live vicariously through them, and that's all we're trying to do is, we're trying to compete through them and make sure they have a good time doing it. Billy and Dwayne, those 2, man, I tell you what, 31 points. I mean, it says enough. I don't really got to say much. People probably wonder how that was going to work. I wasn't worried about it at all, man. We got 2 dudes that, they get it. They're great together. The offensive side of the football, again, 31 points. It speaks volumes in a short period of time with a very, we had two freshman quarterbacks.
Yep.
I mean, it was awesome to watch what they did. Going down the list and you didn't give me you gave me the list, but I still can't see it as I'm sitting in a bedroom without one.
Right.
Corey Durfus, Durfus was one of the first guys. He was there when I got there in 2010. So, I brought him on board. To think about Durfus is he will tell you the ugly, blunt truth, and that's what I told him from day one. You never tell me how good I'm doing. Please tell me what I'm doing wrong.
Right.
I want to know the things that I need to fix, because if anybody pretends like they know what they're doing or they got all the right answers, then they're not doing it the right way, in my opinion. Keep going down there. You got Ron Lugo. Again, a guy that coached with us back in, I can't even remember, he started maybe 2012, 2013. He's been there 10 plus years with us. Guys that all worked together a long time. Come on, let's keep going. Jerry Hudson and Daryl Menor, they've both been there the past couple of years. Just solid dudes. If I ask them to do anything, they are there all the time. They're there for kids. Solid coaches. I got so many offensive coaches. I tease them about this all spring. Who am I missing right now?
Well, yeah, you've got every. You pretty much named. We don't have to go through them all, and I know you want to, because that's the kind of guy you are. Go ahead.
I can't forget about my boy E in the secondary with Coach E and Coach Pettit. Now, Coach Pettit, we had him a while ago. He came back to you. We'll just say that, which is ridiculous. One of the smartest young minds in football, and man, I am having a blast coaching back with him again. That was the dream 4 years ago, and we're back, doing what we do. And that he's just an awesome guy. I'm glad to have him back. It's an incredible staff, because it's just a bunch of guys that get along. We're there, so it's cool.
Let me ask you this, and you're right. Logan taught a lot of people in Brevard County may not realize this, but Logan and Billy taught a lot of people about the game of football by watching on Friday nights over the last 2-3 years on Brevard Sports Network, because those guys, and so I know how great of a coaches they are, just by how great they were in talking about the game on air. There's no doubt about it. Let me ask you this. I want to ask you about your defense, because I know that's still, I know, you're thrilled with 31 points as a head coach, and you got to love the offensive side of the ball, but I know where your mindset is. How impressed were you with your defense on Friday night? What did you see that you liked, and what needs to change?
It's funny, because Billy and I were just talking about this when I was on the way home. It's like, all you see is a scoreboard, and a lot of people will say, he'll get it fixed, and he'll do this. We gave up 21 points. We replaced a whole new defensive line that all transferred out and whatever, goodbye. But, you break down, I had nothing but all brand new guys in defensive line. To watch the whole game, which is what you really got to do at the end of the day, and not just look at points. We did a lot of really good things, and then we just had blown coverages on third down, especially with the quarterback scrambled. You got guys looking in the backfield, and then, a big play happened, and then we didn't recover from it. So it's a spring game. You take it with a grain of salt. But I know it's hard for me to say this. You started the broadcast talking about 31 points, but the offense, they got a lot of talent, man. They're a whole returning offensive line, and this is what we expected. I expected the offense to put us in situations where we're playing with a lead, and I can, if I'm playing with a lead, I can do different things defensively, and I'm not worried about it one bit. We got a bunch of dudes, and I'll just be honest with you, a lot of people don't understand a lot of things that were probably happening, And, we talked about accountability all spring. We had 4 or 5 dudes that didn't start in that whole entire first quarter, some in the entire half, because they made some mistakes that we're going to correct. So you're playing with dudes that don't always go out there, and that's just part of the process. And it's not an excuse.
No.
Those guys are going to eventually have to step up, and you know what? They did. And I'm proud of them because, they battled all game. We got a lot of huge stops, 2 of them in the red zone, keeping points off the board. We got the ball back to the offense to get 3 points at the end of the half, especially with getting the ball back in the second half, like a little, like a little Bill Belichick takeaway with the halftime break.
Sure.
So, we did some things we wanted to do, and I am extremely proud of them. And obviously, you can turn it over to those offensive clowns.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm gonna bring the 2 offensive guys in here now. All right, so here's the 2 offensive guys right here on the left side of your screen. Coach Billy Palmer on the right side of your screen. Dwayne Robinson. Offenses, I don't care. I love offensive lines. I love the big guys up front. I always want to give them the love. But I'm an old quarterback, so I'm going to say the offense starts with the quarterback. And Coach Robinson, it says, you're the passing game coordinator, the co-OC. So tell me about these 2 quarterbacks, and then I'm going to put you on the spot.
No, I got you. We'll start with Thursday night starter, CJ Hall. So he's a freshman right now, and I mean, we kind of knew as soon as he joined the program, the athletic part was there, the talent was there. He's a good ball player, I tell you what, and we really pushed the mental development part of him this spring, and he answered pretty much every call. He did an amazing job. And then the other one, Will Reinhold, he's also a freshman, and I mean the arm talent is there with him. He came to us a little late, so the learning of the playbook was a little slower, but you can tell he's going to be a very good football player as well. So we got a really talented and young room, that's for sure.
Is this something moving forward? Look, in college football, you've seen a lot of success. A lot of guys will say if you have 2 quarterbacks, you have no quarterback. I don't believe in that statement. I just don't, because I think when you have 2 young, good quarterbacks and you can play them both and they each bring a different dynamic, I think it can certainly keep defenses in check and keep them off guard. But let me ask you this. Who had the upper hand coming out of that spring game?
I think when you just look at how kind of the game went, CJ had a lot more opportunities than Will did. I will say that.
I got you.
And CJ came out of that, and got his first Division I offer. So he performed well enough for us. He surprised us, and he proved himself a lot.
Got you, Coach. Coach Palmer. It's just it's weird to say that. Everybody knows you as Coach Palmer. I know you as Billy the Great Broadcaster, obviously down at West Melbourne, But so what was it like? Let me just start with this. What was it like for you being back on the high school sidelines Friday night during a game?
I want to comment real quick on our quarterbacks because I think Dwayne's did a great job. I think one thing that he's created in that room is a competition. I think every day Will and CJ compete with each other and push each other, to be better. So I think that, this summer going forward, that those 2 along with Dwayne, I can't wait to see what he does with them. But for me personally, being back on the sideline, Alan, you know this more than anybody. It's where I wanted to be. I coached there for 9 years, and my brother Jeff is somebody. We talked about this forever.
Yeah.
We should talk about Wilson was the head coach, and we always said, hey, one day one of us is going to be this guy. We're going to take this over, and I always knew it was him because I'm not a teacher. So I'm glad it's him. He gets the headache of the head coach stuff, but I'm glad to be back, Alan, and we have a really, really good group of kids, man. They make it really enjoyable to be out there at 5:30 in the morning with them. So it's a good group.
You also got a pretty damn good group of running backs back there as well, and a pretty nice, solid offensive line to run behind. Why don't you talk about that aspect of this football team? Because I think when you look at the development of these young quarterbacks, these terrific wide receivers that you have, and we'll touch on them in a second, but I think a lot of people sleep on your backs.
Well, I'll let Coach Rob talk about the receivers because he's with them. But we got 2 great backs in Jaylen, Daley, and Kymarion Johnson. I got the pleasure of watching Kymarion grow up. He played for us at West Melbourne. Jaylen I think he moved in 7th or 8th grade. But, I always say it's a little bit of the thunder and lightning, right? Jaylen's got some speed that is very, he's quick.
10.9.
Jaylen is a guy that a lot of people, don't really know as far as the speed factor, right? Broke his leg last year, missed most of last season. But for me, that was his first game back in contact after having a broken leg. And then, Kymarion just got tougher as the game went on. His physicality, his vision, it's a 1-2 punch, thunder and lightning back there with those two. And then our offensive line, I think it speaks volumes for itself. We got 5 returners. You got, your 3 interior guys are all juniors, and then your 2 tackles are seniors. And, it's easy when you got guys that have been together for a while. Some of them I've coached when they were younger, so I got a good relationship with them. But when you have an offensive line coach like Corey Durfus, who, coached me when I was at Mel High, played Division I football, you're just you're blessed with a great group and their work ethic. They want to be coached. They want to be pushed. And I think that, when me and Dwayne sit back and we call plays, and especially in the fourth quarter of that spring game, we're like, hey, let's just lean on these 5.
Yep.
Let's just ride it out.
Coach Robinson, I want to talk about the wide receivers because I think that I think, we talked about the backs being slept on. I think your wide receivers are slept on as well. Tell me about these wide receivers, because the thing that impresses me about your wide receivers is their ability to go pull balls down. You look at some of the catches they make and you go, how the hell did he make that catch? But you have that mindset in these wide receivers. These kids catch a lot of balls. Last year too, I've seen them make catches that feel like impossible, but they go get the ball. Tell me about these wide receivers.
Man, I love that group. I had the pleasure of being their position coach last year, and you could tell early on, some of the traits that some of them had they're different. They're different. They're long, they're fast, they're rangy, they're uber athletic. Some of them are basketball players, so they're used to rebounding the ball. So, it's a lot of it's natural for them, but a lot of it's, we really push them to compete. We do a lot of one-on-ones. We do a lot of red zone work. And it's competition between them and the DBs. If it wasn't for our DBs, I don't think that they would have these traits. So they compete, and 1 through 6, they're very, very talented. Mikey Rogers made the move over this spring to the receiver group, and he had 100 yards receiving. So it's E.J. Hall, Jeremiah Thomas, James Knolmayer, Mikey, Ty Field. You guys call them pink shoes, and so they all make plays, and we really push them to compete. And they feel like they've been slept on, and so they're on a mission. They're on a mission, that's for sure.
I gotta ask, as a coach, you're in rare air here, because every player that caught a pass for this team last year is back on the roster. I don't know that I've ever seen that before. What was I don't think I have. What was the mentality?
I can tell you why.
Why?
I can tell you why, because most coaches can't coach; they can recruit.
There you go. We're going to get into that in a minute, so don't go nowhere, Pannucci. Right. But what's that mindset like? What's that message to these guys? You guys are back, and I would think that you raised the bar on these guys. Talk about that a little bit.
1000%. The big word that we use, a big word, and one thing that we really preach is the standard. The standard is the standard, but within that position group, we've installed a standard that the football is theirs. You go make plays, and by any means you make the plays. Opportunities are going to come. We're going to give them their opportunities. No matter what, their opportunities are going to come, and they're going to make the most of them. But having them all back, they all love each other. It's a very good group. They understand the system. They understand what we're trying to do, and it makes it easy. It really does make it easy.
Now we
it's
all
a competitive group.
Yeah, it's got to be, because you look at these guys last year. You look at Field and Knolmayer last year. They were they were separated by 2 catches and 31 yards. So I know these guys are in there battling for balls. Let me ask you, Coach, how do you make sure Listen, everybody's got an ego, okay? Everybody wants the football. How? I mean, any of you could take this. How is that addressed with this team?
Well,
I can say offensively. Go ahead, Jeff.
nah, you're good. Go ahead. I'll pick up after that.
Now, I was going to say offensively speaking, Alan. I mean, we had 7 guys catch a pass Thursday night. I mean, when your quarterback's distributing the ball, your offensive line is providing protection. I think we gave up 1 sack on a rollout, which was a miscommunication on Thursday night. One thing I will tell you, Alan, I mean, I wasn't a part of this group, but these 2 last year, and I'll let them add to it as far as, I feel like the brotherhood's back at Melbourne High School. I don't see a lot of selfishness on the sideline. The discipline is there. Give or take, we might have had a holding call, and we didn't have any unsportsmanlike penalties. Nothing that we kind of saw in the past, at least that I saw in the past. Being broadcasting the game. These kids are competitive, and they see that. Myself and Coach Pannucci, or myself and Eric Clark, or Coach Rob and Coach Pannucci. It's 5:30 in the morning, and I'm talking crap to Coach Pannucci at 5:30 in the morning. Hey, offense is scoring 30 today at practice. Those kids see and they hear that. They see the confidence that we have, that Coach Rob and I have in the offense, and Coach Hamilton has in the offense, and we're going to hold them accountable. And I think at the end of the day, like Alan, everybody wants to talk about the kids change, the game's changed, and it may have. But we have a group of kids that want to be held accountable, that want to be coached, and want to be Bulldog football players. And so I think that's how, keeping kids happy is just, you got a great group of kids that want to be around each other.
Who can tell me about, and I don't want to leave these guys out, and I know Coach Durfus, who coaches the offensive line? Is that Coach Lugo or Coach Durfus?
There's 4 of us. It's Durfus, Lugo, Coach Evan.
Okay,
and then,
so I just
they
want
get a lot of love.
I just want somebody to tell me about these guys on Friday night, because anytime you put up 31 points and you have the balance that you had, those guys up front were doing something. So somebody tell me about those guys.
I'll tell you about them, man. They're the best group there is. That we will go with them, man. That is a group that is. Man, they are Melbourne Bulldogs through and through. They are fantastic kids in the classroom, off the field, on the field. They're the first group out there constantly. Like, there's not enough positives and superlatives you can use to talk about this group, and they have been through it all. Coach Grish said it the other day. I think it was today. He said it feels like these guys have been here for like 10 years, and it's like because they've been playing since they were freshmen.
Right.
And these kids, they set the tone, man, and they're starting to hold each other accountable. And it's such an awesome group of individuals that, we're very blessed and fortunate to have them, especially the offensive guys, because, we're going to go with them. We can lean on them in the run game. Heck, there was a couple of times they even got Coach Rob would get in there and they said, Coach, throw one up, throw one. You know how they love that. They want to run the football, obviously, but they said, Coach, throw one. They know when somebody's hot. They're not a selfish group. They don't care about all that other stuff. All they want to do is win games and have fun playing the game of football. And that's, what Billy said, man, that's this whole football team. These kids, when I got named the head coach or whatever, they were pushing us to start workouts. We started workouts February 13th at 6 a.m. So these kids have, they're holding each other accountable. I mean, this has been an unbelievable group of kids. 50-plus kids have been showing up since February. Not May, not April. Like, it's such an incredible group of kids that they want to be here. And it's not about me or I or any of that. It's about Melbourne football, and it's about this team, because that's what we preach. And ultimately, like, we didn't have to preach up too much of it, because the guys that did want to be here, they kicked rocks. They're gone, man. The guys that want to be here, they're here. They're here. And that's what we preach over here. And if you go, we'll find somebody else. That's how it works, man, because we can coach. We can coach. And on that note, no, don't you cut me off yet, Billy. Don't you cut me off yet, Billy. Hold
Corey
on.
Durfus showed up. He's going to be on an interview. He don't even
know. No.
Go ahead.
And on top of that, like, the other thing that's changed with this football team that probably nobody, maybe they noticed, the parents probably noticed. These kids are playing both ways of the football. Both running backs played on defense. 3 of the receivers, Ty and James, pretty much started the whole game on defense. We are teaching kids the game of football. We're not just trying to get them out there because they're worried about their stats, or they're worried about this. They want to win football games. They want to be coached. They're hungry. They want to play, man, because we can coach the game of football. And that's what it's all about, man. It ain't about whatever else you see. It's about a bunch of kids that want to be part of a brotherhood. And that's what we're striving for, man. If you didn't see it on Thursday night, well, then you weren't watching nothing, because it worked out.
here with head coach Jeff Pannucci and co-offensive coordinators, Coach Dwayne Robinson and Coach Billy Palmer. And Coach Corey Durfus has popped up on the interview. You can go back and watch this game, sadly in two parts, but nonetheless, you can go back and watch it on Brevard Sports Network. You be the judge of that. But at least you'll be able to see some of the great plays that these kids made on Friday night, because they made a lot of them. All right, guys. So you've had a spring together. Coach Durfus is there, and he can weigh in if he wants to as well. So I know Coach Pannucci gave me, Coach, I'm going to mute your mic because you can't say nothing on this one, all right? So Coach Pannucci said, I said, Coach, is it everything that you expected? And his reply was, it's everything I expected and more. So Coach Palmer, Coach Durfus, Coach Robinson, listen, okay, let's throw all the chips in the middle of the table here. Because for some time, I mean, I got a phone around here. For some time, we've been talking about the possibility of this very thing happening for Melbourne High School football. It's happened. So, Coach Palmer, I'll start with you. Is it everything you thought it would be and more?
It's getting there. It is, yes. I think the future is bright, right? We got a great core. We got a great group of seniors. I think, Jeff, there's 13 of them that have been together for 4 years. We have a really, really good incoming class that is about to join us. So I think, Alan, it's going to be, to me, it's everything it is. It's what I grew up in Melbourne football. We're going to be a competitive group, but we're going to be a brotherhood, Bulldog pride. And there's a saying that you might see every now and then, it's brother to brother. And that extends far beyond when me and Jeff started playing at Mel High, and it started, that was way before our time, and it's just carried on. And I think that this program truly means that.
So, Coach Robinson, I'll ask you this. You played there, you coached, Coach Pannucci coached you, now you're coaching with him. Is this what you were hoping for, over the last year or so, that this is what would happen?
I don't want to say that this is what I was hoping for, right? Because, of course, you know what I mean, I wish things were better last year, you know what I mean?
No, I don't mean that. I just mean like with an opportunity to have, it's rare when you get this many guys on staff that have coached there, bleed green. And I love Coach Kintai. I mean, he had a hell of a run there. What I mean is this the type of thing that every guy, every alumni wants?
1,000%, and I think that's unanimous across the board.
Yeah.
There's a pride, there's a standard. Again, there goes that word. There's a standard. There's an excellence that comes with walking those hallways, playing on that field, putting on this green. I wear it with pride daily, and it's an honor to be able to share it with the coaching staff and the head man and Billy and everybody rocking the same green as as all of us. So it's been fun. It's going to be more fun. And yes, this is exactly what I was hoping for. It's been a lot, and I hope to continue to build on it.
And so we're going to end with this. Coach Durfus is going to get in here on this because I'm curious.
Oh boy, he got O'Galley Electric on. We can't let him in this interview.
I got to ask it, Coach Robinson. We're going to start with you on this. So you've had an opportunity now to kind of go through workouts. You've now gone through the spring. You've played your spring game. I want one takeaway. Like when you walked off that field Friday night, what is your takeaway about this program heading into the fall? And you each cannot say the same thing. So pay attention to each other's answer. Coach Robinson, what is your takeaway from the Melbourne Bulldog football program coming out of spring?
We're coming.
Okay.
We're coming fast. It's coming.
I like the fast part of that because that's what I'm trying to get at with Coach Pannucci with the expectations, because I think when a lot of people really sit down and take a look at this roster, they're going to see. All right, Coach Durfus, what was your takeaway?
There was a lot of growth. I think a lot of expectations were set. Jeff did a really good job of coming in, and kind of standing by his guns that he was going to change it. He was going to make it a brotherhood. He brought the people around him that he needed to have back in the program to change the culture that was there. And, it was nice to see when you looked on the sideline, you saw 6 or 7 guys that were former alumni. So he's bringing back what Melbourne High School used to be.
Billy?
For me, I'm going to go out on a limb because, Jeff don't like to, expectations are higher in the room than they ever will be outside in that coach's office. We hold each other accountable. We're going to hold these kids accountable. We're going to win football games. I can promise you that. And we're going to win games, lighten up the scoreboard, and we're going to play Bulldog football, which means we're going to have great defense.
It's funny you say that. When you started off, you're like, I know Coach Pannucci. Last year after the spring game, I got a text from a certain coach that said, man, we're going to be a good football team. At least my defense is going to be really, really, really good this year, right? I didn't get any text on this Friday night and I'll tell you why, because as a head coach, Coach Pannucci, the thinking changes a little bit, right? You got to kind of temper those expectations in the media a little bit. All right, you get the final say in all of this. What is your takeaway from this program coming out of spring, Coach Pannucci?
Hey, man, the brotherhood is back. Melbourne football is back. And on top of that list, one of the number one things that we wanted to fix was accountability. And these kids were holding themselves accountable. It wasn't just we started it and they finished it. And these kids care about one another. And that's a brotherhood. That's what we're working towards. And if you've got that, that's all you need, because we need to lean on each other in all of this. They responded through adversity. Again, accountability. And we're here and we're coming, just like Coach Rob said. We're coming fast, and we're going to be all right.
Well, guys, I'm really sorry, man, that you didn't get the dinner at Jimmy Hula's. I wish you could have, but I am glad. You guys, I will say this: you guys are the only staff throughout all of these spring football recaps that I have more than the head coach on. So at least we did that, and I certainly appreciate you guys taking the time to come on here tonight and recap your spring. I will tell you, and I will be honest with you, as an outsider looking in, aside from the fact that I had to get past the 2 broadcasts, everything else that I saw from this football team and this program this spring was unbelievably impressive. I think you guys are on an amazing course, and I'm very, very excited to see what the fall will bring for you guys. I know this. I know a lot of the things that had been talked about what should happen at this football program as they were looking for a head coach are happening. And I don't think there could be a better group of guys to make sure that gets done than all of you. So Coach Pannucci, Coach Robinson, Coach Palmer, Coach Durfus, congratulations on kickstarting this thing forward. Congratulations on a great spring, and we will see you guys in the fall.
Thank you very much, Alan.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Oh, there you have it, folks, right there. Listen, you can't let this is going to be a good football team. I'm telling you right now, this is going to be a good football team. And a couple of years ago, they asked me to pick a surprise team. And I picked Merritt Island, and they would go on to win 8 games that year. I'm not going to pick a number of wins, but I'm telling you right now, based on everything I've seen, I know Coco will be good, O'Galley will be good. I know Coach Diesel's got some talent up in Titusville, but I'm telling you, if you're looking for the team last year that won 5 or less games, that's going to be a marked improvement this year, it's the Melbourne Bulldogs. So for head coach Jeff Pannucci, for co-offensive coordinators Dwayne Robinson and Billy Palmer, and offensive assistant Corey Durfus, I'm Alan Slaughter-Zinski. And thank you to Jimmy Hula's. Have a great night, and we'll see you soon.